What's going on, YouTube? Welcome back to another video. We picked up another BMW, an E92, and honestly I'm glad to have an E92 back on the channel. It's probably one of my favorite looking cars. So we picked up the car for only $2,000, and here's why. Let's come take a look. So it looks like it was in like a collision. He probably fell into like a little ditch or something. The whole bumper's cracked. This thing is honestly holding on for dear life with some duct tape. Alright guys, so the car wasn't starting. The owner couldn't really figure out why. Once we bought it home, and we realized that the battery post terminals weren't connected well, so it wasn't charging, and that's why the car wouldn't turn on. So we went ahead and tightened it, and honestly the car starts right up, so no issue there. So it does have misfires in multiple cylinders. We did scan it. We still took that risk just because we figured it'd be something easy, just because it's happening in every cylinder. The engine bay looks pretty clean.
Also, the car is actually running pretty well, so...
Yeah, and it doesn't run bad. So
yeah.
That was surprising, because normally when it misfires, it's like idling like crazy and, you know, it just runs rough. But it runs smooth. Alright, so our favorite part about the car is that it has 5% window tint. No, I'm just kidding. That's not our best part. It's a 6-speed manual transmission. It even has the Navi system, too. My last 335 did not have that.
And it's a black interior.
Black interior. That's the best part. Seats, minimal wear. It just looks sick overall. I mean, the trunk is a mess. Let's see if we can show them the trunk. Look at this mess, you guys. This is how we bought the car. All this is ours. That's how we jump started the car for the test drive. But all this is in here. All this crap. So besides being a 6-speed, it is straight pipe, muffler delete, everything. So I'm gonna go ahead and start it for you guys. Alright, so in this video we're just going to be doing some maintenance. We're going to go ahead and replace the spark plugs. That might, help the misfires, but not just that, it's preventative maintenance. We also have to order the bumpers, the fenders, the hood. So that's going to be another video because we got to wait for those parts to come in. Alright, so for now, let's just go to AutoZone and pick up the spark plugs. Alright, so we just got back from O'Reilly's. We're going to go ahead and get started. We got to take the engine cover off, the air filter off, and all this good stuff off. So we can go ahead and get started. Alright guys, so change of plans. Tell them what's going on.
Alright, so since we had a bunch of misfires, we figured, maybe it was the battery issue, but actually, if you look in here, there's a big old puddle of oil.
Show them the puddle. Put your hand in there.
My bad. Look at this.
Okay, let me see. Alright, can you see my finger?
Hella dry.
Oh, my finger's a longer finger.
Alright.
Okay, there we go. Look at that.
It's the puddle. And that's all for these right here. So normally this gasket right here goes bad. So when you buy a new valve cover gasket, they sell you this one and they sell you this one. So it's always a good idea to switch all of these off at the same time because this one tends to leak. And if you see, this is the problem. This one's leaking into all this into here, which is probably getting into the spark plugs, and that's what's causing a misfire in all of them. So there's no point of us changing the spark plugs because again, we got to replace the valve cover first. All right, so even if it's not leaking inside the spark plugs, the problem is that if this seal is cracked, this is for the valve cover. So you have a vacuum leak right here, and it's going to be a vacuum leak for all of the bank 1 and bank 2, and that's what the code is for. We have a lean condition in bank 1 and bank 2 and multiple misfires. So this gasket in here being broken is what's causing most likely the lean condition.
Alright you guys, so much for doing these spark plugs and all this mess. We took it apart for nothing. But we're going to go ahead and order the valve cover gasket so we can solve this issue immediately. We're going to go ahead and order it, and we'll see you guys when it arrives.
Alright guys, so it's been a week now and the valve cover came in. It's a little package, to be honest, for a valve cover, but so I'm going to go ahead and start removing the valve cover itself, all the bolts. I'm going to fast forward through the whole process. It's not going to be a DIY, mainly because it'll take way too long to record. Also because there are other videos on YouTube that actually do a pretty good job on explaining the process of removing the valve cover. Alright guys, so the valve cover is off. This is what it looks like. So right here, this gasket that goes right here is the one that was leaking, and we could have just replaced this gasket, but we might as well do everything, since you can tell right there it's the valve cover gasket was leaking as well. And we're also going to do the spark plugs.
Okay guys, so we had to wrestle this thing on here a little bit, but now that the valve cover is on, that one's nice and new. So we're going to go ahead and tighten all these bolts down, and then we'll turn the car on tomorrow. Alright, so since he's still hand tightening those, and also he's doing it in a certain pattern, he's not just, you know, jumping around randomly. But while he's doing that, I'm doing the spark plugs. So there's the new plug, here's the old plug.
It's missing the electrode.
Yep, the whole tip is gone.
The electrode.
Shut up. There we go. Focus. But yeah, we're just gonna install these and we'll turn the car on tomorrow because it's pretty late. It's 9:47.
Alright guys, so it's the next day now. The valve cover is in. Everything's good. So next what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna replace this hose right here. As you can tell, someone tried to like put some silicone or caulking. So I went to O'Reilly's and I bought one. It was about like 25 bucks. I already removed the air box, and yeah, it should be pretty simple. Alright guys, so we went ahead and put back the radiator inside, the fan, the new hose. It kind of bends a little bit weird, but that's just how it is, honestly. We measure them and everything. As you can tell, we ended up fixing this by putting JB Weld, the really strong one, the one that dries in like 24 hours. It can hold about 5,000 psi, and the radiator only gets to about 30 psi, so that'll be fine. Because a new radiator would be about like 500 bucks, so we just went with that, and that's gonna work honestly perfectly. It's probably gonna be permanent for a long time. All right, so we also went ahead and degreased the whole front end and everything. As you can tell, the frame right here, it used to be all black, all this stuff.
And then we'll throw a picture up too, just so you guys can see the mess that was under the engine. Like the whole subframe was drenched in oil, and that way it's gonna give us a better idea now that it's clean, where it's leaking from. If assuming this wasn't it, you know.
Yeah.
See if there's any other oil leaks.
What we're gonna do is we're gonna go to O'Reilly and just buy another hose that looks like this, so we can connect it here, because this one broke too. Connect it here. The guy put caulking on it to connect it here, and then go ahead and connect it here, and then put a clamp. So
you put that elastomeric caulking on there.
Yeah. So we're gonna go buy oil as well and do an oil change, because why not?
Well, yeah, because it needed it.
Yeah. Shoot. And then my voice keeps cracking. And then we're gonna go ahead and turn it on and run it.
All right. Hopefully we get no misfires either. Assuming the vacuum leak was the oil leak.
Okay. Alright, so the new oil filter's in. We bought this hose from AutoZone for the overflow tank. Connected it here, and then connected it here, and that should be good. That should work. Next, we're gonna go ahead and pour in the oil, and then we're gonna go ahead and pour in the coolant. Alright, so everything's back in. The airbox is in. The little cover is in. We cleaned all the little connections with this electronic cleaner. We filled up the coolant, we filled up the oil. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and turn it on and see how it runs.
Alright you guys, so we got the car out of the house. We're going to go finally test drive it. Now that we have everything in there, the new oil, the valve cover, all that good stuff. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and check the oil. We poured in about 6 quarts, so it's measuring. It's gonna take a while. All right, so finally we're getting a reading on the oil, and we're green. We're at the maximum, so that's good. Let's see if it's gonna focus. There it is. All right, guys, so we've made a lot of progress in this video, but that's gonna be it. Make sure you guys stick around for the next video where we replace the rotors in order to address the shaking of the steering wheel, But thank you guys so much for watching. Comment, subscribe, and we'll see you guys next time.